In my mission to watch every Disney feature film, it is finally time for me to watch the Even Stevens movie. And it is worth bearing in mind my perspective, but I will ultimately say that I rather enjoyed it. This was released in 2003. It's directed by Sean McNamara, written by Mark Warren and Dennis Rensler, with a cast including Shia LaBeouf, Christy Carlson Romano, Donna Pescow, Tom Virtue, Nick Spano, and various others. And my perspective is that I did watch some Even Stevens episodes growing up. I really don't have any strong recollection of it though, and that means that I went into this with no knowledge of what to expect at all. If you are a big Even Stevens fan, you will absolutely be looking for something different than I was. I was just looking for a good experience. But I can also now answer the question, do you need to have seen the show or have strong memories of the show to watch this and enjoy this? And the answer there is no. Apparently it was actually the series finale. I will say, as a series finale, it's a bit of an odd topic, I guess. I can't really confirm this, but I feel like I wouldn't have been satisfied with this being a series finale, but maybe I'd feel differently. But if you're curious, I'd say it's worth watching, even if you have no real background information. It certainly made me want to watch the show, and I think that's doing a really good thing. It's about the Stevens family, of course, and they have won a vacation. And that does give us some beautiful locations. It's filmed at least in part in Hawaii. But it turns out that while they're on this vacation, it's actually part of a broadcast TV show. And that obviously makes it particularly interesting for us as viewers. And I think it's a really interesting concept. As a narrative, I think it works really well. The pacing is generally not too bad. I'd say the story is well executed. It was a little slow to begin with, but once we got to the point, the pacing was not too bad. There was plenty of action. The characters all had their own roles to play, and the characters were, of course, well written. The performances are very good. That's not going to be a surprise to anybody. And I feel like the camera work's good, the lighting's good, great music, very easy to follow on its own. This could be completely a standalone film about a family who wins a vacation that is actually a television show. And even if the TV show itself never existed, it would be completely irrelevant because it is easy to understand what's happening. But obviously, if you have built up the relationship with the characters throughout the course of the TV series, then it may be a slightly stronger, more moving experience, but I still got plenty out of this. I enjoyed it. It has made me curious about watching the show. I'm not going to jump to watch it, but I might do at some point. There were only 65 episodes. It was only 3 seasons. For some reason in my mind, it went on longer than that. But also, I thought it was a 90s show, and it actually was first broadcast in 2000. So it was not as extensive as I thought, and it aired a little later than I thought. That's just an observation rather than anything else. But certainly the film on its own, perfectly watchable, pretty enjoyable. If you've seen the show, you might get a little more out of it, but if, like me, you're just curious to see what it's like, curious to see if you care about the characters and want to watch the show, despite the fact it's apparently the series finale, it's certainly a decent experience, and I can certainly say from my perspective I recommend it. I'm going to assume it's worth watching if you're also a fan of the show. Ultimately, whatever your perspective, the Even Stevens movie is generally a decent film that I'm happy to recommend.